This might get weird.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then, cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers. There it is. You were hiding that so well.
I wanted to surprise you. I poured a glass of champagne for this podcast, baby. So, considering we both watched 4 hours of The Bachelor this week, I was like, you know what? I'll have a little champagne for this guy.
Like, you're much more seasoned as a viewer of this spectacle.
Honey, I'm KFC.
Yeah. Okay. This is normal? Question mark?
Well, okay. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
However, I will say just as far as like the amount it's happening, I feel like this has happened before when like there's clearly an event that's coming up where they realize, oh shit, we need to like wrap this up quicker. Like I feel like the Golden Bachelor took like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It didn't. It took like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But it was still like, these are 2-hour episodes and they never get shorter.
Yeah. It's a lot of content. Like they are really filling for time. It's insane.
Like I'm down here in Palm Springs working and me and Kiwi went to dinner last night and I was like, I gotta go home. I got like 2 more hours of The Bachelor to watch for the podcast. Like this, it like 4 hours of content for one show it's half a shift of work.
It was like I tell Elliot I don't want to watch a movie because it's just too much. And he's like, but you're going to watch 2 nights in a row. Like he watched the first night and then he dipped out last night. He's like, I simply cannot. I was like, I respect it. I won't make you. Because one of my big takeaways, which this is apparent in, all the Bravo shows, but it is aggressively apparent to me in this season of The Bachelor that these editors do not give a fuck about splicing up those sentences.
No, I know. It's truly
over.
like Joey, Maria is devil.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm like, they don't give a fuck. It's literally like every other word has reverb, and then like these are from all over the place.
Totally. It has been a hell of a week. Well, let's get into it. First of all, I said it before we started the pod, and I'll say it again. Your hair looks adorable. In
Thank
this
you
little
so
beanie,
much.
Look at this girl.
I feel like a little skater punk girl, but yeah, I feel like human again. I'm very, very excited. Thank you.
No, you with the beanie with the Eras tour.
Yeah, no. I just got done talking to our mutual friend on a podcast about cancer, and I had this shirt covered up because I didn't think it would be appropriate. And then now we're going back to back to talk about The Bachelor now. And so I'm like, Taylor Swift shirt's fine.
I'm actually surprised someone hasn't made an Era shirt that's different hairdos from like Daily Grace to It's Grace to now to everything. I mean, I should have not said that and done it for your birthday. What the fuck am I doing? Okay.
Well, it's out there. Okay, let's get into this 4 hours epic odyssey of Bachelor content. I'm like looking through my notes being like, what was going on here? Okay, so Monday night we get 2 hours. My first note is all caps, where's Malta?
Honestly, does everyone know? I still kind of don't know.
It's Italy, right? I'm pretty sure it's Italy. Even after watching them spend 2 hours there, could have Googled it, but all of these women cheered. And I was like, there's maybe 20% of them that know where Malta is. But I would also be cheersing that you're getting out of that haunted house that they've all been staying in.
Yes, exactly. It's a small island off the coast of Sicily, which is also an island off the coast of Italy. But the thing is with The Bachelor, it's like once you're told something that sounds like an exciting announcement, you go for it. In the same way that none of them knew who those tennis pros were.
Right.
I think half of them didn't watch The Golden Bachelor and had no idea those, you know what I mean? It's just like things are presented in a way in which you cheer.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
You know?
It's part of the camp.
That said, now I want to visit Malta.
They make it look good. They do a good job. I wonder what sort of deal they have with the travel board.
We're going to get to that because once we get to Spain, because I'm sorry, but flamenco dancing in reality TV this past week between Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and The Bachelor, there is a tax break for showing flamenco dancing on television.
And also, Drag Race last episode was sponsored by the Tourism Board of Spain. Like,
Really?
they also did flamenco dancing in the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
And Tsunami won a trip to Spain.
Wait, okay. Why is Spain so despy for visitors?
Spain is thirsty for travelers to come by.
We'll come, Spain.
Yeah.
You and I will go flamenco dance if they just give us 2 hotel rooms and a flight.
Exactly. We are very low drama. We won't ruin anything, I promise.
Wow. Please, Spain.
Yeah. Well, so they go to Spain. Lexi gets a one-on-one. Lexi is one of my front runners, still even after this whole saga. She's still up in the top for me.
Literally, I'm doing the thing that I do it every week.
Yeah, Google their faces, yeah.
Lexi, the thing is about Lexi is I think she's fine.
Yeah. She's a little I kind of thought she'd have a little bit more charisma on the date, but she's a bit flat, but she's beautiful. And I think like her and Kelsey look similarly, like the girl with long wavy hair.
Yes,
and
Kelsey A or something.
Kelsey,
There's 2 Kelseys.
Yes, Kelsey, first initial, last name.
New Orleans Kelsey. Yeah.
Yeah, she and Lexi have a similar sort of vibe to them that I feel like he actually likes. This is me reading way too deeply into what's presented to me, that I'm like, those are my, I think, tops at this point.
Okay.
But we'll get into it.
The thing is, Lexi, beautiful.
Yeah.
But you and I discussed last week how I thought it was kind of a cheat code to be like, my talent is kissing.
Yeah.
To me, she feels like, all right, I feel like Joey is slowly but surely showing his personality a little bit. And there's little moments where I go like, oh, you might actually be funny and bust balls in real life. You're just trying to completely be the gentleman on camera, and you're being coached to and you're being edited to, and I get it. But there's moments on dates where I'm like, oh, you have a semblance of a personality. Yeah. With Lexi, she's so flat to me. Yeah. And I understand opening up about endometriosis and everything was a big deal. Yeah. But I mean, it was a very big deal, but I don't know. I feel like the way they're editing it, it's almost, okay, this is going to sound bad, but it's it is a terrible thing. My stepmom has it. She didn't have, children of her own. It is a big deal.
It's hugely notorious for not being diagnosed correctly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my cousin literally just had surgery because of it and had been misdiagnosed for years and years, and worked really hard to find a doctor that took her pain threshold, the pain symptoms that she was telling them about seriously. It's wow. This is a touchstone in women's health that is, I think, important to see.
Absolutely. But instead of just being this is a thing and it's important and let's talk about it, it's the way they're editing it, it's almost like they're editing it like a scarlet letter. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where I'm instead be this is a thing I have and I want to let you know because it affects my future, but I also want to let women know, and then you throw up the if you have endometriosis or whatever. Yeah. Instead of just being I'm walking in as if I've done something wrong and I need to admit Joey. That's the one thing where I'm come on, bitch, be I have this thing and I want to educate women that other people have it. That's my 2 cents about that.
I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she's never had a public platform this big to explain something this before.
And it's not her job to. For me, that's more of a problem I have with producers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel if anything from this, she'll adopt or be able to adopt an attitude like that of being I'm sure women connect very specifically to this story and are I know exactly what you're going through. And here's the good, the bad, the ugly. And if anything, she now has access to a community that she can talk to and be a leader in some capacity. But that all said, I don't know, she's up there as a maybe-ish person for me.
Look, I think she's up and she will go far. Yeah. But no matter what's going on with her personally, the tube top was unforgivable.
Yeah. These girls, I mean, okay, first of all, I have to caveat that we are 38 and a 40-year-old woman talking about 23 to 28-year-olds. And is that the best look? Not exactly.
Not good at all.
Look, we're trying to be as democratic as we are compassionate about their experience. But This is what we're doing. They're human beings. We get that. But they also voluntarily put themselves in this world. Also,
That's what I'm saying.
It is, I've been like, because they're all Gen Z, I guess, right? Or
what's next? What's after that? I feel like if they're Gen Z, they're elder Gen Zers.
Yeah, something like that. Because they're not millennials. I don't know. And
No.
anyway, the way they're dressing feels like 90s. Like, I'm like, oh, they're all dressing like girls did like when I was in high school, which is interesting.
Here's the deal. Them dressing like the 90s right now is like if we were in our early 20s dressing like the 60s.
Yeah. 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 Did we do that? We wore bell bottoms. We did have bell bottoms. They were a thing.
I want to cry. Yeah, we did flower crowns. Like, remember? Yeah. I mean, like.
Okay.
I'm sure that people
no shade. It's
like,
just fascinating. Yeah. But we should get to the biggest part of this episode, which is the Sydney Maria. My God, these producers don't give a fuck, which I kind of love. And this must be par for the course on this program, that it's literally, of course, they're going to put the two of them on a boat and have them sit in uncomfortable, extended silence.
So quiet. So quiet. Well, Grace, that is a thing that you will learn to love on this franchise.
Yeah.
Is that like the 2-on-1s are ruthlessly obvious.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
like much is on this show. Yeah.
Like much is. And there have been 2-on-1s in the past where I'm like, it's a real toss up. But at this point, it's like we are pitting two gladiators against each other. This is the UFC match. And like, it'll be more satisfying to watch this person go home by like in the watchful eye of the person they hate than just during the rose ceremony where like a few people go home. And I think it's poetry.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot that literally at the end of the date, he chooses one of them. Because I was like, why is this such a big buildup? Oh, because two go in, one comes out. Got it. Mm-hmm. This is like gladiators. Sydney is insufferable. She's
maybe one of the worst TV personalities I've ever seen in my life.
I have respect for people that are going through it and have, you know, the mental health of it all, whatever. This is an insufferable narcissistic human being.
Yes. I mean, the way she will keep spreading it out, like, I know nothing about the Bible, but I remember the one thing that was like, and they had one fish and one piece of bread and they fed. And to me, I'm like, this is the drama. Like she is the Jesus of drama and creating a feast out of a crumb.
She said, I'm being tortured. And someone on Twitter says, is that the word you want to use on television to describe your situation?
Tortured. When Maria is literally just being like, can we talk about this? How did I offend you? I've apologized in every way, but I need to make sure I'm apologizing for the correct thing. I was talking about it earlier because Kiwi, who I'm here with, also watches The Bachelor. And I'm just kind of like, I've had more adult female conflict today than these, you know what I mean? And and that's a symptom of these women being so young. Like I used to think about it and go, oh, they're so young. Like they don't know if they want to get married or whatnot. And now I'm more like, they're so young, they don't know how to have conversations without it feeling like conflict.
Yeah, everyone is misusing therapy speak just all over the place.
Tortured.
All over the place. She said this is affecting her health. She's tired and she's breaking out. And I was like, oh, Maria is affecting your health, not the long shoot days that you have and the international flight you just took and all of the white wine you're consuming during the day.
Yes,
like,
the fact that you just flew to Europe and you've probably had Fritos today.
I was like, this is wild. Who knows what the full context, you know, I do give her a smidge of the benefit of the doubt that the editing is not on her side. But, you know, some of the stuff she is just saying.
Okay, well, now that we've talked about the edit and whatnot, first of all, did Sydney and Joey ever kiss? Or was it like platonic the whole time?
I don't remember seeing that. And I don't remember them having any conversations outside of talking about Maria.
Right.
Unless we're not being shown that footage. I don't know.
Well, obviously, as a surprise to no one, Sydney got sent home. But then from that, is it Leah who burned? Leah has decided to be the new general storming the Maria Patrol. And so then in my head, I go, is Maria actually a bitch and she's
Right.
getting
That's what
getting the good edit? Because I don't understand why these girls are like, and then Jess later in the second episode, I'm like, how do all these women have a problem with this one person? Or is it because this one person is sure of herself and is actually a little more mature than all of them?
That's what, I mean, everyone is questioning. I saw a bunch of tweets being like, what exactly is the problem with Maria? Are we not being shown footage that like is actually causing problems? Or are these girls just projecting onto her like their discomfort? Like they're upset that they're not having connections or not getting time. And so she's a scapegoat for them to like, even I think Medina said it at one point, or Lexi, I think, said it at one point. She was like, they're jealous of her and she's an easy target. So it just feels like they're all just deciding. But man, Leah, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
I feel like an idiot. Wool over my eyes. Or like one big strand of bangs over my eyes, which is her favorite hairdo.
Yeah.
I swear to God, when she was like, you better come ready and dressed correct. I was like, is that the point of this show?
Yeah. Insane.
For the rose ceremony. She decided that she was going to be the new Regina George.
Yeah.
And it was like, what a character shift. Like they really like, she met him at after the final rose. She was this sweet little thing. She got the date card and cried that she had that power and threw it away. Oh. And now she's storming the castle of like, I'm going to take down Maria.
It's giving snob. It's giving young snob. I was just rereading that Vulture article that recaps it. And they have a piece about Leah that's so good. They said about her, the one-on-one card and throwing it away. This is classic, quote, 23 years old, and I don't understand that my type of hot isn't the only type of hot, so I'm just going to treat people this way behavior. And I was like, ooh,
wow.
That's a great, that everyone's like, oh, their suspicions of her being like a girl's girl by throwing the card in the fire is actually not true at all whatsoever. Instead, an attempt to prove to Joey how high value she is. Which is what this Vulture article says. I was like, this is great. This is great. This is spot on. And for her to have a conversation with Medina, who, lest we forget, is a mental health therapist, that she's talking to her about, one, the word navigate gets used about 1,000 times in this episode. I'm trying to navigate. Well, you're not navigating from my perspective, clarity. Navigate, perspective, clarity. That's all they are quacking at each other.
Truly, no one has navigated from Spain this much since Christopher Columbus.
Magellan, maybe.
Okay, that probably actually makes more sense. I was throwing it out there, didn't know if the joke worked.
But also in a talking head, Leah says, Medina's perspectives are completely different than what I would perspectivize in this situation.
Perspective, is that a real word?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not a real word. But she says, before this, she just says to Medina, I hold myself and my friends to a really high standard. I have a different set of morals and values. And then she goes, Medina says, okay, walks off. And then Leah curses something that gets bleeped out. And it's like, you were just a walking contradiction. What are you saying?
Like, if the drama starts with Medina, and at this point, Medina, who, thank God she, wisened up and is like, I don't have a problem. Let's have a good time. Because if she was still in the root of this issue, when the whole issue was about how she's the oldest, and thank God she was like, well, I guess I'll act a little more mature. If I'm throwing out being the oldest here, I can't be in like the dumbest drama. I never saw the Medina connection with Joey, and maybe that got robbed of her because of all the drama. I also feel bad. I mean, these are the ones where you're like, oh, fallen soldiers, like they didn't do anything wrong. Like Edwina, was that her name?
Yeah, I know, Edwina.
She's fantastic, but like they just didn't like have that honestly sexual chemistry.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I said. Like Lexi and Kelsey are the only two that I'm like, he looks at them like he actually likes them, and that he's not just like going through his script of how to be a nice guy to a girl. Yes.
If cameras were not there, when Kelsey and him were making out in the streets of Malta against a wall, and she was like, fine, I admit it, I'm falling, like whatever. Like if cameras weren't there, she would have touched his dick.
Yeah.
Like they legitimately
like a normal
were hot
26-year-old.
Exactly. In
we-
Europe.
I don't want to skip over this because this is one of the
Okay.
high camp moments that I loved on the first night of the program when Sydney got sent home and Maria was chosen. And then the opera singer comes out and sings Ave Maria
I can't.
on the
And she's like,
balcony. Squealed.
can't.
I squealed. And I thought,
She's like, she's singing my name.
I couldn't believe it. And then meanwhile, Sydney's like in a car being taken home. I was like, this is the stupidest show. This is the dumbest show.
Like, the last thing you want is you're like, oh, yay, relief. Let's listen to a opera soloist for the next 5. Maybe they could have done it 2 takes for all we know.
Exactly.
They could have stood there for 30 minutes.
This woman who probably has gone through years of training for this beautiful talent that she has.
To perform for a 2-on-1.
Yeah, has to do it. And again, let me remind you, this is the episode in which we saw the sausage wheel. So
here's the thing, Grace. I watched Monday's episode a little drunk by myself. I was tired. I'd flown in from Florida. I had a 6 a.m. East Coast flight. I watched it in real time. I was on no sleep, and I was been up for like 17 hours. I forgot about Sausage Wheel until this very moment. Those girls were dry heaving.
They were... even Elliot walked away because he was like, this is humiliating for women. This is a humiliating show for women. This is setting women back. And I was like, yeah, it's still going. It's slow-mo and they're montaging it.
They're getting chomps. They're throwing up. They're cutting away to flies.
It looked
like, is
terrible.
it rancid sausage? Was it raw sausage? Was it cooked?
Sausage it's probably like 90 degrees outside. And they've been like...
It's sweaty. It's sweaty.
In pure sunlight filming all day. And then they have to eat sausages that are being... Like the man that actually had to spin that sausage wheel, what is he getting paid? Is he being compensated? Please, dear God, give that guy like a day rate at least.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that episode was...
I forgot. I mentally blocked out the sausage wheel. Like, you said it, and I was like, this sounds familiar. I repressed it.
Well, before that, they had to stare into his soul. They had the contest where they all had to go up and silently look at him.
Which is Maria Abramovich. That was like a very famous modern performance artist thing where she was at the Met or I don't know where in New York, and you come in, people would sit across from her, and then they'd start crying because she looked at you. I'm like, is this a particularly Spanish thing?
I don't know.
I mean, because I've been to Spain a few times and I've never had sausages slung at my face and then had to stare at someone. Like, take me to a cute place to eat dinner. How about that? How about that?
Yeah. It was quite an episode. Okay, then we get the second episode. He goes on. Who does he go? Kelsey. He takes her on a date, and then we have the rose ceremony where Jess starts spiraling.
Well, first we have the date with what's her face,
Rachel,
and it was really Rachel. I like them together.
They're really cute. I can't get a read on if he likes her or not.
Here's the thing: I can't tell if I like them because they seem really comfortable with each other. Like she seems just like a confident, like I know who I am person without any air of cockiness to it.
She's a nurse.
She's a nurse. But I can't tell if like they should be together and it seems like effortless or if they should just be really good friends.
Right. And I get friend vibes, I think, maybe from them.
Okay.
Because she seems like, I'm a nurse. This is who I am. Like that, which makes sense to how like outgoing and comfortable she is with people.
However, when we talk about the flamenco dancing, first of all, everyone has flamenco danced on reality television. There is in the last like week. Why does everyone have to perform it?
Yeah, no one needs this. Like, and also those shorts and those boots is quite honestly the goofiest look I've seen in a long time.
I loved it. I thought he was serving straight Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Like straight cunt. However, it's just kind of like, so now you're going to make them perform to people who you rallied off the street, who come in, they're like, what is this? I guess I'll spend an hour of my vacation doing this. Oh, let me watch people I've never heard of perform for an hour, and then they just have to make out in front of us?
Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable making out in this show. That's the thing I wish they would dial down. But I get that that's part of the gimmick and is like part of the camp that they do. I don't know.
I get it. Okay, continue. I just had to touch on that. I literally have notes where I'm like, and now they're making out?
I know.
As
all my notes are like,
clap?
they're kissing. Ew, stop. Please stop. Okay, then they go, oh, we have Kelsey's story. Kelsey opens up about her mom passing away. Breast cancer. That one hit hard to hear.
I know. Jesus Christ.
She's a sweetheart, and I think he
I
genuinely
like her.
likes her. Also, her getting on the back of the Vespa, I was like, this is an Olsen's movie I remember seeing when I was in like middle school that I've idolized. Like something about this vignette hits home to my young girl heart of being like, that's love.
Totally. And also, I might have said this before, but in case I haven't, one of the things I like about Kelsey, besides the fact that it's like she lives in New Orleans, so you automatically know she's probably like a little quirky and weird.
Yeah.
Is that she's got kind of these little poking out ears.
Yeah.
It's like I can picture her 4th grade elementary photo. You know what I mean? Like I know she probably had glasses, ears sticking out, that curly hair she didn't know what to do with. It was kind of like a dork, and now it's like blossomed into like, oh, you're so uniquely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. She was really sweet. And I thought, my God, to have to tell that personal of a story in a, like, you got to remember that it's not just the two of them at a table. It's a billion camera people and producers and production assistants and lighting and microphones and all of these people.
And like an echoey cave for dinner.
That she's giving a monologue in front of about like one of the hardest things she's ever experienced. So I give her nothing but kudos for that. Good for her.
I like that, Kelsey.
Then we go to the party eventually after I have my heart is in my ass, lol, as a note. Okay.
Honestly, that works on so many occasions.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where we get Jess starts spiraling because she's not getting time, and then Maria, who already has a rose, steals him away. What's the etiquette on? Is there etiquette like built into the show on that?
The thing is, it goes a few ways. So there have been people who are like, at the top of the night before even the Bachelor or Bachelorette gets there, they'll be like, I have a rose, so I'm going to respect everyone's time, so you go ahead. However, like, again, this isn't a sorority. If you're like, yeah, but I feel a way about him, I'm not going to see him for like 4 days. I'm going to go talk to him for 10 minutes.
It is a competition.
I think, like she said, I forget who said it to Maria. It is like, I think it may have been Medina. Like, a lot of people talked to him that night, but Jess decided like Maria's the most hated person here. And the thing is too, is like, I've been rooting for Jess.
Same.
I've enjoyed her.
I thought she was quirky.
Like her petty popped out.
Yeah. She was tired. She seemed a little sleepy.
She's tired.
She seemed like a little emotional, and it felt like Leah just like snuck in there and was like, it's Maria's the problem. I was like, oh, I don't like this.
Jess seems like she might have gotten her passport for this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's never traveled that far.
I mean, she's 24. That's crazy. How far? Like, I was only just starting to travel when I was 23 and 24.
Mind you, she's the one who arrived in a boat.
And also, mind you, the first night, she kept stealing him from others. So it's like, girl, the contradictions are alive and well within these two. No wonder they're friends.
She came in and was like, I'm the first person to kiss him, and still kept grabbing him from other people. So Maria grabbed him for a second. Maria also hasn't seen him since post 2-on-1 Ave Maria.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe she wanted to touch base. It's probably been 3 days in between those two moments.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's Jess. A competition. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jess got her panties in a bunch and started spiraling. I like that she says it's giving disrespect.
I did like that too. I was like, oh, sweet. This is modern lingo.
But I like that when Maria just goes, I'm sorry that it breaks your balls. Grow up. And I was like, damn, Maria. That's great.
Well, the thing is, it's like maybe if I was young and with Maria, I'd be like, it's giving disrespect. It's giving bitch. It's just like being older. It is like, oh, good. Don't like pussyfoot around it and just be like, instead of being like, I'm sorry, could I talk to you for a second? Are you somehow mad about it? It was just like, grow up. We're all here. There's like 9 of us left.
Yeah. To the girl that literally did this first out of any girl that's out here. You're mad that I'm doing exactly what you've already done. It's giving contradiction. I'm sorry.
It's giving relax. Okay, here's what I'll say about upcoming stuff, which, by the way, that edit for the rest of the season,
Whew, got me.
can we add another Oscar nominee for editing? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm worried about Joey. I hope everything goes well.
I know.
I'm wondering who he's worried up. Like, who wrote very close up, "Can we talk"?
Yeah, they made it look like Daisy, which means it's not going to be her.
Oh,
So,
I
I don't know.
Daisy's still so pure.
I know. I forget that she's there. She's just so normal that I'm like, what's this? Why is she on camera?
She is staying very far from the drama, and
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way to do it.
I agree.
Because again, I think a lot of these contestants come in there being like, I'm here to be on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
I'm here to go to mixers. I actually like this guy who's already been on this show way more than Joey. And this
Yeah.
is my like in to be invited.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's like Survivor that we can't imagine that there's not a single contestant that has never seen the show before going on this
Right.
show. So it's
Right.
like,
And people go on Bachelor
Yeah.
or Bachelor in Paradise and are like, I hope so-and-so is here.
right.
Where it's like, you wanted that person to be the Bachelor from the get.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm excited for the rest of the season. We'll see what happens. I am ready for him to have a date with Kelsey T, who had a little bit of a meltdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think she's cute and sweet, and like they do have chemistry.
They do. I'm like, so every other note is like, he's going to break these girls' hearts. He is going to break these women's hearts.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it happen, and it's tough to watch.
It is
But
tough to watch.
I also love at the rose ceremony that they just put the two girls that are beefing right next to each other every time. I'm like, this is like where people sit on the couch for Real Housewives reunions, where it's like, you're in the hot spot. It's very funny.
Oh, yeah. Producers stopped giving a fuck a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got its tropes, and I appreciate it. It's fun to watch. I'm eager to see how the season goes. I'm wondering if the drama that they're selling in the trailer is really what's going to happen. I don't know.
Well, speaking of drama, let's talk about the V-Pump and how it rules.
Yeah. Vanderpump Rules. Okay. This episode, we have
pulling up notes.
Emo Night, which is fun because I know Erin
Oh my
Guilfoyle,
God.
whose husband runs Emo Night. And
You
she
do?
she was in the background of one of those, one of the clips in the green room of them getting ready. I was like, that's Erin. Oh, that's crazy. This world is smaller and smaller.
Emo Night is so funny, and here's why I find it hilarious, and I totally respect it, and like I know Chip would love it, and it'd be a great time.
Yeah.
But I never was into anything under the umbrella of emo.
No, I mean,
So I
I'm
feel
wearing
completely
a Taylor
disconnected.
Swift shirt right now.
But you like look kind of like you could
Could
be
be.
into emo.
Yeah,
I could see it.
Listening to Avril Lavigne is probably as close as I got.
I know. I think anyone who likes emo would slap you for saying that.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't think.
Be like, I'm into hip hop. I love Flo Rida.
Yeah.
Oh man.
However,
okay.
I do think Sheena remixing "Good as Gold" to a screamo song is fun.
I think it was a good idea. However, I do not think, despite like there are probably some Vanderpump Rules fans in the crowd that day, but
Yeah.
Sheena really took the stage as if it was a Vanderpump Rules event.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to lose their minds, as opposed to them being like, we want some more like take me back Sunday.
Fall Out Boy. Yeah. Take me back Sunday.
I don't know. What is it? It's something like that, right?
Yeah. You're asking the wrong person. Something Sunday.
I don't know. Taking Back Sunday.
Yes.
Taking Back Sunday. I think of what it is. Okay. My first note is how cringe is Tom Sandoval saying that Sheena looks like Shania Twain?
Yeah. That was a real desperate moment.
They
Anyway.
all go to See You Next Tuesday, where James is.
Yeah.
And it is like, these are the most where it feels like we are fulfilling contractual obligations.
Oh, this is there's like this is what this show is, like a social experiment of what if we
Yes.
forced a friend group to stay in like social situations with each other when in any other situation this would never happen.
They'd
Like-
never see each other again.
Right. So it all feels a bit obviously produced, but I think that's what an audience wants to see like what's the fallout after the big drama.
Like, even with James, it's like, granted, I don't think he's like I don't know. He could be a great DJ. I have no
don't
idea.
know.
But like, I don't think he still needs the paycheck from See You Next Tuesday where they cut to
Right.
12 people rocking out. I also really love how, since they can't use whatever music he's playing,
Yeah.
every time they cut to him and he's like, yeah, it's never to the beat.
Yeah. It's like
And I'm
some
like, are they doing that on
royalty-free
purpose?
music. It's so hard to watch.
But they could edit it so that it matches up with the beat. And it's like they almost on purpose make it look like he doesn't understand rhythm. It's so good.
It's great. The so we have like Tom's birthday that ends and he's like, I feel bad because Raquel didn't text me on my birthday, and that's just giving me a little ick. And then it's like him in a talking head with that green jacket and a handful of like blue long fingernails, like wiping his tears. And I was like, this is ick. Like, this doesn't give me, like, I feel bad for you. This is just like, oh gosh, this is
especially now that we're seeing it in real time and Raquel is being like, he told me to leave the facility. You know what I mean? So it's like, here's the thing, is that I do think that this season of Vanderpump, it's going to be a campaign to make Ariana look like a bitch.
Yeah.
However, I was expecting that regardless. It's like what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Sandoval to still be such a douche.
He like, I have a note that Lisa said this really well. When he goes to meet with her at Pump, that in this empty restaurant that's closing down,
Starts screaming at her.
he just unhinged, starts screaming. Literally every time someone tells him anything negative, he gets fully defensive. And it's like, this is where the problem is. And she says to him, she's like, the only way through this is by utter sensitivity and contrition. And once I Googled what contrition meant, which is like sincerity and like, you know, I fucked up basically. I was like, Lisa with the wisdom. Like, this is, he just needs to humble himself, and like he, like his DNA does not let him do that. Like, it's a narcissist. Like, I hate to throw that word around.
No, but I think in this specific
he's narcissist
instance,
curious.
I think people call people narcissistic a lot, but like, I think we can all agree that like, if you're gonna throw that word around, it makes sense with Tom Sandoval. Like, to the point where like Schwartz is completely, and to me, an emotional idiot, like devoid of emotional intelligence, what have you. And even him, Sandoval was like, and James Kennedy wanted me to apologize to him. And he was like, you should have.
Exactly. Yeah. That everyone sees the way that this should be handled, and he's just not doing it. It's like, don't go perform with a band and scream about Raquel on stage and then come back and be like, no one's being nice to me and no one's like seeing that I'm in pain. It's like, it doesn't seem like that. Like, these, the way you're talking and the way you're acting aren't aligning in any capacity. So it's really hard to take anything you say seriously. And I don't know. It's just like, if he was really truly in an absolutely broken, awful state like Raquel, he didn't have to film this season. But I don't think cannot be on camera, you know?
No. I think he's been on it because this is what, the 11th season. So
for all they know,
11 years, this has been everything. And like, I feel like he truly, like, that feeds him. Yeah. And also, I mean, his other opportunities dried up. Like, no one wants Tom Sandoval to represent something. Honestly, I'd hire Tom Sandoval if I was Massengill.
If you were what?
Massengill, it's a douche company.
Oh, God.
So stupid.
Nailed
but I'm
it.
just saying, like that's taken away. So I think he truly is like, I think a lot of it is his narcissistic tendencies. Sorry, I know I'm trying to navigate this perspectivishness. But like, he is like, I have to bring the drama and not just grovel, or else they could just like let me go. And this is the only thing I have. The business is failing. His parents are $500,000 in debt to Schwartz and Sandy's. And like, if he was no longer on this crew, on this cast, and now that Raquel isn't coming back, it's like he would be totally fucked.
Yeah. I think he's working overtime to try to be perceived as a victim, and it's just not working. So he's like throwing a temper tantrum about it. Because even there's like clips currently of him on podcasts like having meltdowns, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, like we said, the Vial Files. I was like, the Vial Files. Well, that said, when are we going to Wolf by Lisa Vanderpump?
I know. I love these one-word restaurants. I am so curious and would love to go. Where is
What
it? Lake
is the
Tahoe?
population of Lake Tahoe?
I have no idea.
No clue.
idea. But it seems like a sensible place for her to start a restaurant. Who knows?
I will say, Schwartz with his campaign to like, I'm going to invite everyone. And like, you know, James Kennedy will cave because James Kennedy at the end of the day is like a little yappy dog.
Yeah.
Who just like the second there's some actual like kindness shown to him, he's like, oh, okay, I'll shut up. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to
He's desperate for male friendships because he has never had a father figure in his life.
Well, someone has.
I mean, the writing's on the wall.
A degree.
At the end, we get Tom and Sheena talking in the back alley of Sir. And I saw a tweet saying, I've been trying to figure out the Sir layout for a decade of my life.
Yeah. It's like, can we go outside? And it's like, what's this new outside?
Yeah.
Like,
how did you get back there?
I've been to Sir. I've posted the picture on our Patreon where it's like, this is across the street from my vet.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've been in here several times. How is this still happening?
Yeah. Pretty crazy. And that photo or something of them talking in this back alley circulated before this season started, of people being like, Sheena's talking to him. What a bad friend. All this shit.
But I think Sheena held her ground.
I do too.
Very well. I thought it was, and to have Tom in his interview be like, one of the worst parts of this fallout is like losing Sheena. Because think about Sheena during the, when she had the restraining order, and think about her when she had to go to the trailer when Raquel came on.
Yeah.
And she's like eating her sandwiches, being like, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, she truly is. Sheena, no matter how cringe she is, and again, this might change during the season when she finds out she kissed Schwartz. But like, she is a kind of ride or die friend.
Yeah, she's extremely. She's way more, I think, emotional in like her compassion. Like it really takes her over. Because I think she does invest really deeply in her friendships, or at least it seems that way. Which is why it's interesting to see how the tides shift and they're all sober curious in different ways this season versus just getting shit-faced and letting cameras roll. I think they're all like very cognizant of their behavior now and what they're saying, which is very interesting to see. Yeah.
They can't risk it. I'm sure a lot of the social media in the immediate fallout of Scandival was like, well, just emotions in general, but like fueled by like, well, I'm going to story this and react to what happened. And then you're like, oh God, I should have put that through PR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it is. I mean, like, Sheena is, you know, stoking the fire by having podcast episodes. And like, they were all talking about it constantly, which, you know, they're the biggest, highest rated whatever of their entire like legacy on the network. So, of course, they all want to be in the mix of it, which I'm sure makes them all very like on guard of the way they're acting this season, because they know this is probably going to be like one of the highest watched seasons after the fallout of everything. So it feels like they're all not drinking to make sure they can all remember everything they say and that was said to them that they can recall later.
And say something witty instead of just screaming. But like Sheena with like the Bond highlights and the full vibe going back there and being like, I got you a vodka soda. And she was like, I haven't drank for 3 weeks.
I know.
Today is 3 weeks. And then he'd be like, oh man, that's cool. You look like Shania Twain or something like that. You're like, you can just feel the moment where someone goes, this is my shot to make it friendly.
Yeah.
And watching her stone cold reject him being able to like penetrate her anger.
Give him nothing.
I fucking loved. And you know what else I loved? I wrote down this note when that, and they're in the back, like by the dumpsters.
Yeah.
When it cut to credits, the song that played, the lyrics were, I'm just trash, throw me away.
Yeah. I had my closed captions on, so I saw that. I was like, this is so stupid.
It's like, I'm just trash, throw me away.
Meanwhile, like Sheena committing to wearing these sunglasses at night is another just hilarious layer in this thing where she's like, I'm not giving him anything, but I will be wearing these sunglasses in this alley at nighttime the entire time.
God, it was good. I mean, like, I do think I'm ready for it not just watching Sandoval not go on his apology tour.
Yeah.
Is exhausting. So like a trip or something that takes people, because right now, like you said, like they're so controlled, they're not drinking, they're ready to like go in and make sure what they're saying is right. Like I need them to get a little out of their element because like, not that I'm wishing anyone to be a mess, but like this is what I have signed up for the past 11 seasons.
Yeah, you want.
I'm not trying to watch people really, like
mature
speak
people
in a mature way. That's not what I came on to Vanderpump Rules for.
That's what we're watch The Bachelor for.
There we go. Perspectivize.
None of these people on Vanderpump Rules are perspectivizing the situation like I would.
I mean, like, what perspective vision blocks Ocean?
I am interested to see what happens. This season, I'll say, is a little bit of a slow burn for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, what are we going to do? It's like, it was so out of control before. You know what it feels like? It feels like, and did you watch Vanderpump Rules previously to last season?
I did. I watched a bunch in the beginning and then fell off and then started watching last season amidst all of the chaos.
I think a lot of people like joined on last season or like binged and whatnot. And you know what it feels like? It feels like one time when we were living in New York, I went to Six Flags in New Jersey and we decided to ride the craziest ride first.
Yeah.
And then everything else that would be scary felt fucking boring.
Yeah.
So I feel like last season was it was like the craziest. We did Tower of Terror and now we're on teacups. And like that's gonna happen. But like it's the adrenaline of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, who was that surfer that talked to Tom named Jesse that was clearly mic'd up? That was like, I had a lot of fallout too. I was like, I haven't been watching. I don't know who this man is that's coming over to his table and being like, you owe me an apology, that Tom apologized to him. I was like,
I don't remember him. I have no idea. I don't remember him at all.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows in the Lord? There were a couple seasons I didn't watch, but it should pick up a little bit. But regardless, it doesn't matter because next week we'll have Bachelor again. Will it be 2 hours? Will it be 19? We have no idea. We will have Pump Rules, and we'll be back on watching the newest episode of Drag Race, which I'm excited to get back into because last week we did a double up.
Yes, and if you haven't heard that up, we released it last Sunday, so go check that out if you want Drag Race conversations.
Also, this is looking a little further into advance, but in a couple weeks, Grace, one of these might start taking the back seat. So it's like Vanderpump, step it up.
Oh, yeah.
Or Drag Race. I know we do it like later than some other podcasts, so it might be a quicker one because Survivor starts.
I know.
And we're going to be recording those episodes the day after they come out.
Yeah, and Elliot and I do watch Survivor in real time on TV. That's one of the few things we watch in real time. So
well, Chip and I do it like later when he's on the road, and I said to him, I go, well, babe, we got a second episode now.
Yeah.
So like there will be no delaying the batch.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, talked longer than I expected once again.
I mean, when you have 4 hours of a program to go through, that's insane.
Absolute insanity.
Well, I'll never look at sausages the same way again. So there's that.
Oh my God. Like, I hope they had an EMS on set.
Yeah.
Truly.
Exactly.
What was the Bachelor Mansion's bathrooms like that night?
Oh, boy. What fun.
Boy. Well, this got real.
Yep.